Welcome to another episode of CXO Fireside Chat with Kalpana on CXO TV. Today we have the honor of hosting Mr. Gyan Shankar, Chief Digital Officer at Voltas, part of Tata Enterprises. Hello, Gyan sir. It's a pleasure to have you join us.
Hello, Kalpana. It's a pleasure connecting with you, and I think I look forward for a very enriching session today.
Same here, sir. So let's dive into the pivotal moments and significant challenges that have shaped Gyan's leadership style and approach to technology-driven transformations over the last 3 decades of his professional journey. Over to you, Gyan.
Thank you, Kalpana, for asking this. I never put a thought on this question, but good that you put this question. So it's an opportunity for me to look back and summarize it. Yes, I will say that, okay, there will be always challenges, and in the professional life, you all go through the challenges. We have different ways to overcome that, and the overcoming of that at times becomes a great learning, and at times become big disappointment also. But the disappointment also becomes a part of learning, because then you know how to manage those kind of things and overcome in the future things. So in the last 3 decades, I will say the whole thing started in the IT part with the ERP phases, when I jumped into this ERP bandwagon. Basically the excitement was that, okay, you will be exposed to the multiple industry verticals, different types of business processes and challenges. So learning will be too high. And second thing, those days in the 90s and all, when you were working in the consultancy, that's a different lifestyle and also comparatively rewarding more. So those were the motivators to come to the ERP consulting. And then I basically grow through that from a consultant to become a team lead, and then project manager, program management, delivery management, practice management. And then in the 2008, I will say that when I started looking after the IT as a function, at that time, I was in a petrochemical company based in the Qatar. That's a government-owned company, and that position was also Qatarized for a definite, for a certain number of years. But that particular exposure helped me to look beyond the business solutions or the application part, also look into basically the different other IT challenges, and back to from the other side of the table. So far, when I was at consulting, I always felt that, okay, the other side of the people are very lazy, very lethargic, they don't relate it. But you have a different kinds of challenges when you are on the business side. And after that, I came back to the India, and then again, I became the part of not a startup, but a new startup company, which is establishing a delivery center in India. I was lucky enough that, okay, I have been the part of that. So basically working along with my friends who are the ex-colleagues and all, and setting up that and setting a team from 30 to 300 in a span of 1 year, and making all billable, no bench. That gives a completely different exposure, how to basically acquire talent, retain talent, groom them, build the competencies, make the entire delivery center more profitable. And at the same time, also you will be grounded, because you are not a big brand there. You still have to have the best of the resources. You still have to keep motivating them that, okay, how they can learn faster on the new things which is happening in technology. So after that, I moved to the Aurobindo Pharma, where I will say in that journey, my spectrum or the horizon got much wider. There were a lot of challenges. One is the industry specific. I will say pharma being very regulatory industry, anything and everything, what I have been doing so far, it was more that you need to have a budget. You need to have properly scope defined, have a right partner, do the right project and change management. Things are more or less will go live and things will be adopted. But pharma is a different point. Everything will be right, but still, because of the regulation things, at times it becomes a little risky to ensure that in the future also it will be equally reliable. Any solutions, if you implement for the first time, there is a journey to come to a stability and reliability level. And pharma, that point, whether it is they call it CFR Part 11, which is a compliance part, and all times of the reliability, many of your ideas, many of your solutions, many of the POC successful, it gets backtracked. But it also gives you a lot of insights that, okay, in such kind of things, it is not only the technical solutions, it is a more on the compliance and the quality, which basically sits over that before it gets acceptance. There, I will say that, okay, that was the time also when this all digital technologies were taking shape, and it was making a lot of noise across. And now we are in an age where anything and everything we do, we see, we act, whether personal life, professional life, it's all digital only. In fact, our personal life is more influenced by the digital space rather than the professional life. And you start the day with all the digital gadgets, all the digital applications. Your daily routine things are all dependent on that. And from Aurobindo, I think I experimented few of the things in the technologies, be it RPA, be it IoT, be it let's say analytics and machine learning and all. Some things got implemented, some things not got implemented. There are valid reasons for that. But many projects which we started or many POCs which we started, that gives me another kind of learning that, okay, how to reset this. And some of the learnings which I came to know that after this, if I look back this 30 years journey, if I summarize into the 5 or 7 bullet points, I think the first thing as an CIO or as an, let's say, CTO, what you will call, technology is the given piece. You should not think about technology or you should not talk about the technology. First, you need to immerse yourself in your business. And when you immerse yourself in business, you start thinking from the business aspect. Then you see that how we can enable this from the technology. And that seeing the technology doesn't mean that, okay, do something which is making a lot of buzz outside your organization or in the vertical, or it is a new technology. The most important part, when you are in the business as a CIO, you have to also have the sensibility that, okay, whatever the technology you are bringing, it is giving the right ROI. So what is your current IT landscape? What are your processes you are doing it? Also not to forget that what is your culture, work culture in that organization, different industry verticals, different organizations have different cultures. And all these things you need to stitch a journey. And if you stitch a journey and you also find out what are the critical points, and then you plan that, okay, how those things, for example, traditionally like in manufacturing company like us, if you want to do some kind of bring all the new technologies, maybe generative AI, maybe AI, data analytics all together, it will be chaos. And it will not yield the right result. The result will only come when in your change journey, the last person in the change acceptor, executor, he is also the part of that and he understands how it is benefiting him, not impacting him. Everybody is concerned about his benefits. So how it is benefiting him, that message should be very clearly given. And that is not something which can be done upfront when you decide that this is a solution I am going to bring. It is also a lot of evolutionary things. And you need to understand the different personas. You need to make them sure that, okay, they should understand this, they should part of this. And not necessarily that all 100% will be the part of your journey. There will be always people who will be little stubborn or will be little more resistant to the change. You probably need to adopt something in a different way. And there is always a threshold for this. You put your best different options, you make your adoptions, you make your different strategies, make them to learn, handhold them. Be prepared that there could be failures, but also think from that, if the failure is that, how to overcome that. So as you can de-risk yourself quickly, you should not let those projects become problematic that your business operations get impacted. So in a nutshell, what I will say that first you understand, immerse into the business, know what are the key part which impacts the business efficiency or business success. Is there a scope to do the automations in the current landscape or taking technology from outside? If you are deciding to take technology from outside, try to basically bridge this with your people there, skills there, processes there. And any IT project which you are going to start, traditionally, when I come from if I look back 30 years back, IT people used to have some kind of arrogance or I will say superiority complex that we are giving solutions, we are making the systems work, so we should be leading the project. I think that mindset should be served out and it is in the interest of the IT. IT should be a kind of coaching the business to adopt technology rather than leading the technology solution. You'll be always there to help them out if they get stuck up or if they need more solutions. And let this be owned and driven by the business. And IT should be always a catalyst, I will say. It will be an engine which is pushing the whole cart from behind it. But the engine which will be taking in front should be always business. Third point I will say is that, okay, communication, that is a must. In team, with business, with your partners. And you should be, even if you feel that, okay, the same thing is getting duplicated at times, but if you have put the periodicity of that, please do not miss that. Because communication is one thing which will, we are all living in the age where the information bombardment is happening. We are all bombarded with information. And that's why our average retention of the information or any of the data is very, very less. And we all know that we Indians has a very, very short memories in terms of our social lives. In the corporate life also, it is being very visible. Unless something is critical, we forget very quickly. So you are driving a new initiative, there is some potential benefits out of that. And you'll have a different age group of people. Generation X, Generation Y, Generation G will be always there. The acceptance of that message will be different level. You need to reach out to them with the different channels, different ways to ensure that they're getting the right message. And they become your the part of journey.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So, I mean, you have actually concluded, the whole 30 years or maybe, the 3 decades, more than 3 decades journey, and you have summed up it so nicely that, it's a great learning for the budding CIOs. So
Thank you.
definitely, we totally agree with you. And it's quite challenging. It's not something, as you rightly said, that it's a journey. It's always evolving. And now technology is actually changing at a kind of a speed, like, it's, I think, more like speed of light. So things have completely changed. There is a lot of disruption. And we'll now talk about the disruption that you see, which is influencing the electronics manufacturing industry, and what are the trends that are shaping the industry's adoption of digital technologies for enhanced efficiency and innovation.
Okay. So digital transformation is something, a keyword which has become as relevant as oxygen we breathe, and anywhere and everywhere we go. I mean, especially in the professional life and all, nothing will start without this. Somewhere digital transformation, or nowadays this AI or generative AI, has become the common terminology which we'll be basically talking about. Now, coming back to your question, yes, like any other industry, electronic manufacturing industry also has basically got highly impacted, or I will say profoundly impacted, by the digital transformation. Industry-wise, if you see the adoption of the different technologies has been in the different timeline phases, because every industry vertical has its own challenges, its own initiative. But now we can see, if you remove from the electronic manufacturing some of the hi-fi gadgets like mobile phones and smartphones, and if you keep the electronic industry more on the consumer durables parts, I still feel that the new technologies which has come, the penetration of the technology is not up to the same extent how it is there in the BFSI, telecom, fintech, all these things. But now there is a lot of upsurge happening, and this all technology adoption definitely is leading to a lot of innovations. And if I see on a very high level, I can divide it in two parts. One, external to the organization, which is a more on the customer side, and the second, I will see that, okay, the more on the internal side, which is a more innovations, efficiency, process enhancement, cost optimization, efficiency in taking decision making, all these things will come. Now, there are different set of technologies which is impacting nowadays for the electronic manufacturing industry. In the manufacturing, if you talk about, we all know that manufacturing, smart manufacturing, or IoT 4.0, Industry 4.0 adoptions, connected plants. Then you have the IoT spaces, not only in terms of machines, but collecting those data, those informations, making your process more efficient, making your quality on a more higher side, that your defects will be lesser, your product's yield will be better. So in your electronic manufacturing, generally it is a discrete manufacturing. So you have assembly lines, you have different activities on that. So on those line management, if you have a flexibility, because in case of electronic, the mix size is very high. So let's say, if you take example for, let's say AC, I being consumer durable industry. So one batch you have started on that line, which is a 3-star, 1-ton capacity. But the same line can also produce 1.5-ton, 5-star capacity. The same line can also produce maybe some other configurations in terms of the panels, or in terms of color, in terms of capacity, in terms of energy rating. So that flexibility should be very high. It should not be that, okay, there is a changeover and there is a loss of time, which impacts directly your productivity. And that is possible only with the help of technology. So if you have a IoT implemented in your different, let's say the machines or the equipments, you'll come to know about the performance. You'll come to know about basically when the maintenance is needed. You'll also come to know and relate a lot of patterns out of that, which will basically indicates that where your productivity is higher. And maybe if you drill down and go into the insights and try to find out why it is down, it is because of some of the operators' skill set, or it is because maybe some of the calibrations of the machines, which we don't know. So there are many things which will come once you start looking to the data. And data become very, very pivotal for all your processes, whether it is making efficient or whether it is making more optimized. And this is possible once you start collecting data, and data collection is possible in the manufacturing plants and the IoTs and all. Not only this, many times what happens that the manual efficiency in terms of quality or inspection, that may not be very efficient. It will vary from time to time, person to person, and also his state of mind. Okay, but the technology will not do that mistake. Using a computer vision to detect anomaly in the quality, to detect whether it is packaged right or not, rightly or not, whether some of the stickers of the samples are put at the right place or not. it has the ability that, okay, on an assembly line, it can detect if some of the small parts is missing. It can bring that very quickly. So you don't have to waste the time till the time it goes to the maybe finished goods or may get delivered to the customer, and then you bring as a defective item, reverse logistic and all. So this whole digital technologies, computer vision, IoT, data analytics, all this brings a lot of efficiency. At the same time, it also gives you, if you basically connect this with your outside, which is a more a customer. When you say customer, supply chain optimization is also the part of that. So when I say customer, it is a more customer services, customer experiences, customer personalization. So though there is a manufacturing company, nowadays, first of all, we are moving towards the economy, and we all should, I'm sure we all agree on that there is nothing called product. Everything is an experience, whether it is a product or service. Even if I have been manufacturing a durable, but at the end, what experience it offers to my customer in terms of his entire journey, right from the day when he felt that there is a need to have this product, he searched on the Google, he went to my brand store to find out on this e-commerce sites what are the prices, he saw the reviews, he saw the comments, and then finally he decided to buy. He may start buying using his mobile app on the Amazon or Voltas.com, or he may go to his nearby shop where he will have a better confidence of getting the right product. Whatever is the way he has chosen, when the material has come, whether it is done installation properly, and when there is a need to do some fixation, whether the service reached out to him in a timely manner, whether the service guy is reaching to the customer and respecting his customer ego, that hand-holding him, finding his time, his availability, and fixing it, and doing it first time right. And after that, also engaging with him that, okay, not only for offering new products and services, but also that how you are experiencing our product and how you can make your journey better. I think that essence also, if you bring together into manufacturing, you will come to know that which product, which SKU, or what enhancement I should bring in my new products. That your product innovations guys can take it. Let's say nowadays somebody will be talking that, okay, my AC should be looking like my bedroom decor. However, the AC which I am putting in my drawing room, it should be aligned with my drawing room things. But at the same time, every 6 months, I may be changing my drawing room, and it should get aligned with that. Currently, maybe there is no thought process. But why not, if that is the option, can you offer that? Because nowadays, when you reach to a technology product offering certain solution, whatever the things you do which attract the customer, it's a more kind of appealing to his personalization rather than experience. 5-star, take for example this laptop. Everybody will have Windows laptop, i7 processor, 16 GB RAM. It's all the same. What makes the difference? The difference makes the look, the color, the crispness, and also the brand and logo value. The same goes with the durable also. So how you differentiate that, and whatever extra feature we are talking in this manufacturing industry, that okay, how will make the connected, not only connected manufacturing, but also connected products. So when you talk about connected product, that means your products are Wi-Fi enabled or IoT enabled, and you are getting all those informations using your mobile app remotely. There you can control that. You can get a lot more insights in terms of energy consumption, but it is also helping the manufacturer like us, and it will basically help the customer journey better, because you will be able to preempt when there could be failure, and you align your services better. You will align the availability of the spare parts. You will align the availability of fixing that problem before it occurs. So the digital journey for a manufacturing industry, if we see internally more from the product, I will say innovation, efficiency, optimization, quality, less quality failure. If I say outside, it is a more a customer experience. And third important thing, which for every industry has become very relevant, and with this geopolitical scenarios and post-COVID has become very, very vital. And it has become so vital that if the companies ignore this part, survival will become challenging, and that is supply chain. Because no company can have the complete horizontal integrations and the vertical integrations. It has to source. And when you are sourcing, the entire sourcing should be based on the certain, I will say, intelligent, smart way. And that smart way, every organizations, every individuals have its own heuristics. Some might be using certain technologies, some might be using a blend of technologies, some might be using very fancy technologies, but unless it is end-to-end connected supply chain, right from, I will say, my dealer, my distributor, where my SKU is being sold. And if that is being sold, I should know that, okay, what is my secondary stock at the different levels? And that should basically bring me visibility that what SKU will be sorted in the market. And if I can stick that story from there to to my mother warehouse, to my manufacturing center, then sourcing it out, planning the production in that way, scheduling it, aligning also some of my contract manufacturers on that. Then probably my inventory, the inventory cost will be lesser, and your working capital will be more efficient. If you do in that way, and if you optimize your supply chain, I think you'll be more efficient and leaner in terms of the other your competition. And this is not something once you define, it will be working properly. You always have to keep monitoring and keep redefining it, refining it, so as the process never become a kind of complacent. Because it is the very nature of the process, very nature of any system. Once you implement and you see that it's not that in 90s you used to have this advertisement for the Hero Honda, fill it, set it and forget it. Systems are not like that. Implement it, go live it and forget it. In fact, the work starts only after go live. Once you have gone live, then you start exploiting, understanding how better you can use it. You start working towards how I can remove some of the crap within the process, how I can make this systems more usable. And that's a journey which you need to take. And that is why I was telling that unless it is owned by the business user and they feel a value out of this for their own individual professional growth, it is not possible. There will be always some approaches where you are having the stick and carrot. There could be a initial spark will be there. Again, it will go down. After a certain time, the company will realize that the system has become rudimentary. There are so many crap of the data in terms of master data, transactions, and the processes that probably you have to do new implementation, re-implementation. And then people, they gather up with this new energy, new things, and they try to do this. The one fundamental things which misses in all this kind of initiative is that, the change which you are bringing, that change story and that impact, the value, the benefit, and the ownership has not been conveyed properly to the user. I'm not saying that, by saying this, I have implemented this in my professional career. I also have failed miserably, but I have learned out of that. But when I look back, I feel that, this is very important. So in the digital transformation, the electronic manufacturing industry, supply chain is one area. IoT is another area. When you have the IoT, you have a lot of data. IoT could be on product side or it could be on the plant side. It could be also on the logistics side, where you get all this data. And if you bring an insight, you bring a pattern, you bring a contextual kind of relativity or correlation with the data. For example, if there is a lot of returns or defects are happening in certain areas, you need to know that, what that model was. Why there is a specific returns coming from a specific geography on a specific model. Was there a problem in that batch? Was there a problem in some of the bill of material? Because you'll always have alternate items. So the items what we use for that, was that a problem? Or there was a problem in everything was fine, but there was a problem with one of the operator who probably have messed everything. So there is a learning need and all. So it is all about that, going deeper, connecting the dots. It's a more, I will say that, going into the likes of, I will say, a detective way, not to vindicate the people, but to find out the problem in the process and fix it.
So how are digital technologies being leveraged to enhance supply chain visibility, agility, and overall resilience in the electronics manufacturing sector?
In case of electronic manufacturing, what happens is that you will be buying your raw material or your semi-finished goods, either from sourcing it from the different manufacturers, and you try to assemble it. After assembling, you'll be supplying to your distributors, or you'll have direct to customer also if you have your own brand shops or you have your own e-commerce portal and all. But what matters most is that how you are sensing the demand first. There are solutions in the market which everybody will claim that it's artificial intelligence enabled. It has the predictability ability, and I do not doubt in that. But any predictability for the demand sensing comes with the maturity of the data of the time series, season, profiling of the customer behavior on that, demography. I will say the test preferences, the customs there. Also, in case of, let's say, air conditioner, freeze and all these things. Also the weather pattern there. And the income level of the people. Many factors you need to drill down to do the demand sensing. What exactly in the supply chain optimizations in the electronic manufacturing industry is that, and this is not only in this electronic manufacturing, but most of the industry. Automobile, the story is different, but in the other industries, be it the pharmaceutical or be it, let's say, tire manufacturing, the problem is that you should know what is the secondary stock and what is the secondary sales. Primary sales, primary stock will be all coming now, because if you are not sensing that secondary sales and secondary inventory, and your algorithms or models are not mature enough to do the predictability, you will always end up piling up inventory, or probably you will be manufacturing something which is not in that demand, and you have the lesser stock for the other SKUs which were not manufactured. So to do this optimization, it right starts from sourcing your demand, and where you can have the connected, you connect to your dealers, distributors. Nowadays, you have different solutions, whether they're running on Tally or any ERP, you can get connected them. And many times this not giving you this data is basically the lack of motivation. And that is another change. Many of the people, they will not be willing to give this data. Why they still dispose their sales, their inventory. So you need to have a certain, I will say, approach to convince them, either to reward them, give them certain incentive, or give them the preferences for certain SKUs, which is selling more. That depends on the industry and that depends on the product. But finally, you have to bring to that they should share that data and you should have that data. If you started sensing that data, you need to have your production planning done in that way. You need to have your sourcing done in that way. And you need to also have your entire plant which is running, that should have the flexibility to run the smaller quantity. And you do those digital technologies, because every data you are capturing, it can bring you that what is the most optimized production planning would be. How you can make your replenishment plan more efficient. How you can still produce, which is more economic order quantity in terms of whether you need to work more on your logistic network, that I can have smaller shipments to replenish it, or I need to do that, I produce more, stock it, and then replace it. There's all a strategy which you need to do. If you do humanly taking the data, probably it will take ages, months together, and still it will be iterative and you will be fixing it. But if you do with this digital technologies, pulling all the data, bring the data lake, and bring that algorithms, bring that insights, bring those dashboards and all, you relate it, it becomes easier. And I'm not saying that there will be no iteration, the one time will be right, but there could be lesser iteration. But over in that, if you use, let's say, digital twin technology, apart from the data analytics and all, you can also relate that if the changes the demand happening, if I'm changing my logistic network, if I'm changing my production planning scheduling, if I'm changing my sourcing strategy, how this is going to impact me, how this is going to impact me to overall productivity, overall supply chain efficiency and resilience. All these things, if you can simulate on your digital twin and relate that with this backed up with this, your data analytics and all, you will be in a better position to take the right decision. And in the whole supply chain, I think the warehousing logistic plays a major role, where you have a lot of automations in terms of robotic automations, and you also the humans work with those robots, which becomes more efficient and all, where you bring a lot more chances of error and more efficiency.
Yeah, sure. Your current organization is Voltas, manufacturing ACs. So, which is primarily, when we say, when it comes to business, it is B2B business. And
primarily it is B2B, but every B2B has a B2C wing also. If Tata Steel, Jindal Steel is also directly reaching to the customer. We are also not exceptions. We also have Voltas.com, where we are the B2C also.
Okay. So in that case, I would like to understand, if we have to do the breakup, then how much is it, the direct business, and how much it is B2B?
So still the reach and distribution model, which is the, let's say, general trade we call in our segment, which is you have a distributor, dealer, retailer, that still constitutes around your 40 to 50%. Then similar lines, there is something called nowadays modern trade. You have Chroma of the world, Reliance of the world, Vijay Sales of the world. They are the part of the modern trade. They constitute around 20-25%. So 50, 25, 75, rest 25% or around 20% is a mix of multiple things. From your Voltas.com or from your e-commerce site, or it could be from your some of the institutional sales. Okay. It will not be even 25%. It will be less than 20%. 15% will be. 85% goes with the modern trade and general trade.
Yeah. So it's like omni-channel now. We can say.
Kind of, yes.
GTM is now more like omni-channel.
Correct.
Now, earlier, we call it as e-commerce, but now it's not just e-commerce. As you said, yes. It's omni-channel. So when it comes to, getting these data, which are much required, whether it is for predictive analytics or, for our predictive analytics for global supply chain, or maybe, the other sectors where we need data, especially when, the channels, if it is omni-channel, wherein data is distributed on different, I would say resources are quite different. So how do you manage, with creating that kind of a data lake when the data is flowing from so many sources?
Great question, Kalpana. And I will just put a disclaimer to this because we are in this journey. If I am saying something, that doesn't mean that Voltas has achieved that. But what is the thought process on that? I will be sharing it. Many other things which we have already started. But in such a case, how we'll get the data from different sources? And you rightly said that is omni-channel. And as I said, that demand sensing. So you'll have your brand shops where you'll have in-shop demonstrators where a customer may come and he gives you only 10 to maximum 10 to 20 seconds to decide about your brand or your product. So there is a person who is there who will be talking about why you should buy my AC or my refrigerator or my washing machine. And you also have some of the other leading brands in the same brand shop. The moment he looks there, before that you need to convince him. Because when you have come to that particular brand shop and he stopped there, he already has done some kind of fair research or he has some preconceived influence on this. That in my family, I have seen, let's say, Voltas AC. I will again go and buy Voltas AC because my experience has been good. People are saying good about that. That 10-20 second, he has to basically get convinced or he will lose it. So the person who is there, he is the ultimate deal maker for the Voltas, for your brand. How you can educate them, how you can more empower them, how you can make them to ask the right questions, or how he can make them the moment he asks the questions, what is the answer he is expecting. So the answer what he will be expecting, and it depends on the geography to geography different. Can you capture the data? Maybe we are not able to convert that in the most of the times because we are not able to convince, because you bring those people who are basically contractual in nature. That job doesn't give them proper career aspirations. Everybody does that as a part-time. So there is not much of the passion of the soul involved in that. Okay. So there are challenges that. But if you capture the data, you can still bring a lot more better learning content. You can educate them better. You can also put some of the career progression for really good performing people. If you bring that data right from your shop, you also get the data from the other shop dealers who are selling it. You also get the data from the e-commerce. You also get the data from the Google search. You also get your data from the social media. You also get the data from the third party, which gives the competition data and all this else. Plus, you already will have your own data in terms of services, in terms of complaints, contact centers, in terms of installations, AMCs, warranties. You bring your own customer journey at your Vedic data lake. And then create a kind of a pattern out of that. Put the context of the seasonality, put the context of the geography, put the context of the different, I will say, bucketization of the customer segment. Put certain logic. Try and keep iterate what kind of the approach, what kind of promotions, what kind of campaign would result me. See the results, the convergence. Again, basically tweak it based on, because a campaign being launched, again, the decisions that what are the channels I have to opt, which channels could be more effective. Because every channel may not be very efficient and effective way. There is a lot of, I will say, thought process goes behind that. And after that, when you get that data, that is a more kind of sensing the demand. And you also have the data, what is moving. You bring your logistic network, that how I can work more efficient, how I can optimize the entire warehousing cost, logistic cost, and is still making it more efficient in order to deliver within 24 hours, 48 hours, 32 hours, whatever it is. And then you also work on your service side. Again, that is depends on data. My service engineer is going, and if he goes in the first time and he is not able to fix it, it's a complete dissatisfaction for the user or for the consumer. Okay. So when he is going for the first time, he should be always equipped that he knows the problem. He carries the space what is needed and he fixes it. If not 100%, at least desire to aspire to be the intent towards 100%. And when somebody is reaching to the, let's say, for the servicing, he should make sure that, okay, his whole experience is good. Suppose if I'm going to do this AMC servicing for your AC and I took 3 hours, wasting your 3 hours is not right. Then you should basically try to do it more efficiently. If there are certain prerequisites, which is do it yourself or self-healing, which will make that process efficient, suggest it. Or if you're moving towards a corrected product, you have your own data to suggest that, okay, these are the parts also you should carry and you should educate it that this should be changed. That data, you bring it, and then you have the data from your manufacturing, where you have your bill of material items. You have certain existing contract, rate contracts, a supply contract to supply. And there will be also limitations because you might be importing many other things. So though you are saying that I will produce 110 AC, 200 quantity on the next week, but in the same week, you also have the production planning based on this demand sensing, different models. So how you are going to organize your supply process in that way. And that supply contract, because you are producing 200, but your supply sourcing should not be on the 200. You should have a bigger vision to do that. And you also in that contract create the flexibility that how we can make certain things delivered in a shorter time. It may cost little more, but you see that particular, I will say, economics, which serves the better purpose. If you sense all the data and bring to the supply chain tower, so earlier there is called supply chain tower, but now it is a tower of tower because your supplier has his own tower and your dealer distributor has their tower. They are very structured or not. Your supply chain tower need to talk all these towers to send the data and then churn it out and have the observability and the corrections on daily basis. Somebody has to own it. And it is not only somebody, I will say the team of the people, cross-functional team, be it the production guy, be it the quality guy, be it the warehouse guy, be it logistic guy, all together will have a certain task based on the observability it is coming. And it will be again a journey towards that. And there is nothing called perfection level. Automobile industry has reached to the kind of just in time. I still believe that consumer durable industry and electronic industry also have to move to that way because the BOM item of each of this consumer durable will have more than 1,000 items and each item will have 10, 12 or sometimes 100 alternatives. It's impossible to ensure that, okay, each BOM will have you have the stock available and you are sourcing it at the right time. So that entire network of the suppliers, logistic network, warehousing network, last mile delivery, servicing, all this data if you pull together and then you bring a trend inside and analytics out of that, probably you can be able to plan better because supply chain is not only this is the demand sensing, but also you also have the high level and do this business planning for the year. You target that this much quantity, I will say. At that time, you don't know which SKU, which model you'll be selling. You have a certain target, you have a certain average value and you put it. That granulation happens later and that impacts your production planning. Production planning impacts your sourcing and sourcing has a longer lead time than your delivery. This technology is very stitched together. The data when is brought from the different parts and not to forget in supply chain, the data of your manufacturing plants. That if some plant is running 24/7, some equipment is running, in order to ensure that the productivity is not lost, you need to have the predictive analytics out of that. It should sense out that, okay, what is the speed is running, what is the temperature, what are the different calibrations, is it going to fail based on the historical records, and you ensure that the capability of the plant is fully utilized. So I think all these factors will give you this supply chain optimization. And again, this is not something, doing all these things is based on the data. And the one factor is there, which is the geopolitical scenario, where this part cannot de-risk yourself. Then you need to have a different strategy for that.
Yeah. So predictive analytics is also, important when it comes to minimizing the downtime and optimizing, as you rightly said, the equipment performance or the, whether the plant, there is the 100% productivity or not.
Right.
Yeah. So data is the oil. Definitely, data is the oil, and much required for any kind of automation. Be it, we want to do IoT, any kind of the whole fabric. It's all interconnected. We can say to have that fabric in place, we need data. So with that data, we can do everything when it comes to automation or robotics to optimize whether the production lines or reduce errors or improve the overall efficiency. So I remember one of the conversation happening earlier, wherein we were talking about we were just discussing that how to influence the decision of the customer. And because we have very less, span of time for their attention, basically.
Correct.
So, yeah. So, content, what are the different strategies, digital strategies, you being the Chief Digital Officer, what are the digital strategies you are having in place to, have that attention span and making sure that, okay, to grab that attention of the customer, whether it is content marketing. I was telling you, I was connecting it with one of the previous conversation that we were talking about, watching something maybe on Netflix or any of the platforms, and there, simultaneously having something coming up like with the, these days we have chatbots. Something like, if, in the movie or in the program that we are watching, there is something related to the living room, or maybe, as you said, how a customer might expect that, okay, if it's been installed in the living room, then it should match the living room and how it should be. So same way, if we imagine that, okay, if there are any possibilities that while watching Netflix, same time you liked the in the program, you like the air condition in that program, and you actually click on a link and you land up on the website of the Tata or in the Voltas, and then you can do the purchase, connected with the payment platform there itself, that okay, these are the models, and while you are watching you liked it, and then you go purchase it from there itself. So that kind of a scenario, if we that's the vision. So what are your thoughts around this? I really liked this idea, and this was something very interesting. So what is your take on this?
So that's a very interesting thought. Well, aspirations will be to reach to that kind of stage, and I'm sure currently I don't think there is a technology where you are watching a movie or watching a TV broadcast or YouTube videos. There could be links below that video as a part of that, but not on the moving screen. I will say that at least myself, I still learning the different ways how you can make the customer decision making very instant, contextual, right at the time when you get basically impressed. You should not allow him to do this after that. You should rather enable him to take the decision right at that time. So that's a kind of very innovative thought you have shared it. Okay. I will say that some of the things what we are trying to do is that educating more on the touch points at the different channels. And we are still on, I will say, the learning and evolving process. I will not say that, okay, we reach to that, but there is a thought process going on, and because these are never going to be first time right or one time right. There's always a learning, they'll be keep on changing. So all the touch points where the consumer or the customer is coming, how in a limited span we can impress about your brand, more about also to know what matters for him, and educating more our in-shop guys, making more information available on our, let's say, Voltas.com. People who are coming for a budget class of solution, probably they may not basically put more weightage for energy or maybe green kind of things. But nowadays, all the educated class, they are a little sensitive to that. If you say that, okay, we use very environment-friendly refrigerants, we use these gases, our products are more energy efficient.
And sustainability is a growing concern now, ESG and...
ESG, and it is a very good thing that, okay, even the common people and public, they also are sensitive to that, especially those who are in the urban areas. Tier 2, Tier 3, probably the penetration is still less, but urban areas, people are sensitive. Then one important thing in case of the consumer durable, it is the most important part is that when they started and they decided to buy, after that, because it has a lot of post-sales activities, post-sales services, post-sales kind of making their life more comfortable. Take for example of room air conditioner. Room air conditioner is something which if it's not done properly, it will spoil the entire aesthetic of your home, of that room. Yeah. And so that experience, you have a great product, but if the installation was not done properly, you will never recommend that.
There are lots of case studies. I mean, Asian Paints is one of the disruptor in this sector, when it comes to aesthetics. The kind of disruption they have made in when it comes to painting the houses. It's awesome. I mean, it's a great case study. Yeah. So, So I think with AI kind of, this scenario now we have, which is taking every industry by storm. I think, we are striving to get that kind of technologies in place. It is possible that, we can have for niche.
One day we'll have that, what you are saying also. But currently also, I think that things like in refrigerators, countries like China and all, in the cities like Beijing, they have implemented this. But many of the strong brands in that consumer durable, they're yet to achieve this. IoT-enabled phrase, where it will be sensing your different compartments in the fridge, and if it's getting empty, it will trigger the notification to the nearby your grocery shop or the vendor who is delivering that, and this will get delivered. In case of air conditioner, generally, let's say in a room, how this will become more flexible and still serving my purpose. For example, we have one of the product called which Maha adjustable. That means it has a capacity of 1.5. You can run it at 1 ton, and also you can run it 1.5 ton. These things will become more flexible in the coming products. Well, I will give you a simple example. In every freeze, you will have a double door, or at least you have 2 compartments, one for freezer, the other chiller, and your other things, right? At times in the summer, you probably need more freezing capacity rather than the chiller capacity. Or at times, you need more spaces for your vegetables. How you can make the products which is kind of so flexible that based on your need, you can do that. Some of these innovations have come in some of the product, but that's also very limited.
Yeah.
Can you make your washing machine and dishwasher together in a single product? Now the houses and the flats are becoming shrinking, and your kitchen size is also becoming shrinking. It is very difficult to have multiple equipment set there. If the same equipment with little bit of calibration can serve other purpose, yes, it makes the life easier and is still serving the need. Third point, next is if you take AV technology, you don't need a panel. Anything and everything can be converted in the panel, and you can still have the viewing experience and probably better experience. I think a lot of thoughts and technology is going on this, and many things are related to the influencing. As you rightly said, Asian Paints has been one of the pioneer in it. How they have used the influences like the home decor part, the carpet, the masons, the different interior designers, and now they don't say that okay they are the paint company.
Yeah.
So the message. Similarly, in case of consumer durable and home appliances, I think the journey could be. I'm just imagining the journey could be that you don't say that you are durable. Probably you say that okay you are a smart home decor. Things like this, where you may collaborate with the companies like Asian Paints or companies like who are home decor, and you bring all these things together. Because nowadays, people, those days are gone that, okay, when I need a washing machine, irrespective of the brand, the capacity, the star marking, I need because that's my first essential need. People will be going for a washing machine or for a phrase of a certain color, certain texture, certain, I will say capacity, and they also want the changes in that. So a lot of flexibility they'll be looking. They'll be needing a lot of digital things on that. What the temperature you can, without opening the fridge, if you can still calibrate that.
Yeah.
And so can you convert a freeze also into your kind of RO system? I don't have to keep on put the bottle fill and then put in the freeze. The freeze itself will have this water purifying capability, and you can, based on your need, you can change it. So many of the innovative thoughts are there. One part I will say that adoption of technology in the durable part has been very slow. Now, you see one of the Mumbai-based company, when they came with the build AC fans and charging 3 times of the conventional fans, it seemed that the people who is going to buy the fan in 3,000 to 4,000 rupees, but he has proven them wrong. They have become a kind of instant hit, and it was realized that the people are so much conscious about the energy bills. It not only bleeds them in terms of money, but also makes the life easier, right? Because it doesn't give so much of noise. It gives more air. It looks better aesthetically. Same goes with the durables also in the future. The government of India also has put this Bureau of Energy, BEE, where they put the norms that all your durables should be star marked with that certifications and all. So, yeah.
And I think there are different market segments for durables. I mean, it's like mobile phones, starting from the feature phone to a high-end mobile. So it's catering to the needs of all kind of people, whether it is the metros, the urbans, or the tier 2, 3, 4. So definitely budgets have always been constrained, especially in a place like India. So it's not that only, people who can't afford it are only budget, conscious. But I think in India is a kind of a place where budget definitely play a lot of role.
What matters is the utility value in terms of the investment, what you are doing. Yeah. And there is a huge opportunity, tier 2, tier 3 cities, tier 4 cities, where still it is not that penetration is there. So huge opportunity for the durable companies. And also there will be gradual shift of those consumers. Maybe first they will start with the more kind of serving their need. Then they will go more test of preferences, personalizations, value-added services, which become a kind of differentiator. The purpose of making a call or doing a WhatsApp chat can be done on any of the smartphones. which can be available in 7,000 to the 2 lakh rupees. So that is what the range it will become and differentiates. Yes.
Yeah.
I also feel that in the going forward, everything maybe there could be little challenges, but things in the durable also will tend towards to become a service or pay per usage. Because the generations are gone when you have the emotions attached to the whatever you purchase, procure. So our childhood days, our first bicycle still is emotionally connected. Maybe my father's will be more connected with his bike or his car. But current generation, the connect to the product what they use is not that emotional. It's a use, have the value and move for the next one, better one, enhanced one. So maybe the durable industry might also move to that direction. It's all the changing taste preferences of the societies and the people.
Yeah. So Gen Z, I'm sure, I mean, they are kind of stay hearty, will believe in, these kind of, like, we still feel nostalgic. And with them, it's completely different scenario. Their way of living, their lifestyle is completely different.
Correct.
So, okay, so before we start with our rapid fire round, which is going to be very exciting and interesting, I would like to know more about the sustainability initiatives taken by you at Voltas.
Very good and very relevant question. Internally, we as an organization have a target that by 2030, we should become carbon neutral, which is a very aggressive plan. And we have very consciously, we have in our products, we use very environment friendly gases or refrigerants, which doesn't impact the ozone layers and all. We also try to have the processes in place and the constant observation that how we can create less waste and how we can recycle those things. Our, let's say if you take about our washing machines, refrigerations, not only on the energy side, energy consumptions, but also the whole mechanics, how it will work, where it will probably consume lesser energy. For example, I will tell you that washing machines, what the Voltas repo brings, that we don't use the hot water for cleaning after the spinning, before the spinning cycle. It's all the cold water, because the moment you heat the water, that will consume energy. And also the volume of the water, I will not say it is the best in industry, but comparatively, it takes lesser water. Same thing goes, let's say, in our plants also, in waste management and recycling these things. We are also doing a lot of things that, okay, how we can empower and enhance the other people in terms of skill and in terms of their usability to the, basically into the organization and in the society at all. So initiatives are multiple. And I will say that from the IT side, we keep a very kind of a record that, okay, how many servers keep running and is there a need to keep them down, keep them shut down, and the products which we are buying, that okay, how there's the emissions, carbon emissions is higher or lower. It is not only the commercial thing that also we consider, but that is not on the enterprise level. But I'm saying that every function level, that sensibility is there, and there is a sense of ownership that how we can contribute to that. So, for example, on the logistics side, we try to see that okay, how much is the carbon footprint got created if we are running a truck from point to point. Whether we have been able to optimize it or not, I will not be able to comment because I have not seen that data. But at least when you start observing something, there will be always an approach to optimize that and to do better. That is what I will say.
So is there any, I understand government has started putting a regulation, especially for the manufacturing company, on, sharing the data when it comes to sustainability, how sustainable your brand is. And then again, now this is going to make difference with the customer purchasing your products. So, is there any system been introduced to make sure that, okay, the things that we are talking about, the initiatives being taken? So from the accountability perspective, what are the systems put in place to ensure?
I wish to add this point, and rightly you asked this question. I should thank you for that. This is a sustainability is of course it is a statutory requirement. That is one thing. Second thing, internally also we have a team and we have a function sustainability, and that function's job is to basically to collect the data from the different sources, from the plant, from the warehouse, from the customers, from the R&D, and to see that okay, what KPI is defined for that, how we are progressing and how we are improving on that. Then there is a committee which reports to the internal leadership team, and that reports to the board, and also it reports to our group count, Tata Sons. There is a separate sustainability committee there. So this buying in is right from the MD level and the top level, and it rolls up, and there is a proper review mechanism which happens, and there is a accountability fixed from the different areas to how those KPIs can be not only measuring but also it can be improving. And as far as the system is concerned, we do use the visualization for the Power BI dashboards and all, but many of the areas that those data is still being captured on the Excel sheet or the reports taken from the SAP. We have not full integrated system so far, but I think moving that in this journey, we will maybe next year, coming year, we might be going for some solutions where we capture all those data sources and automatically we can publish and see the changes.
Sure. So that was fantastic to know the kind of initiatives and the mechanism you have put in place at Voltas and Tata. So now is the time for the rapid fire, which is more about understanding the tech priorities you have from the IT side.
I see.
So yeah.
How good or bad I'm going to perform.
Okay. So I'm starting with the first question. Do you expect your overall IT budgets to increase, decrease, or remain the same in 2024 as compared to last year?
I have the hope that it will slightly increase, not in a significant way, only to cater that maybe the price increase by the vendors and all. Budget
in
will
percentage, if you have to say in percentage, it will be 10, 20,
10 to 15%.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So does the IT budget of your organization meet the expectations of the IT team? Maybe it's the beyond the expectation, meets the expectation, or barely meets the expectation, or, below the expectation?
Currently, it meets the expectations because we have taken many projects. The team is fully occupied. But with this space, maybe after 1 year or the next year, a couple of years, probably we need to work more on the budget side, yes.
And how do you see the level of investment from your organization in digital transformation initiatives in 2024? Is it significant, moderate, or limited, kind of pilot projects only, or no current investments?
No, I will say it is very significant. The digital transformation is one which is on the top of the priority. I will say that once upon a time, you have been one of the leaders in the industry in adopting the new technologies and solutions. There was a COVID where every organization basically transformed and take a leap ahead in adopting technologies. At that time, we probably have not been able to capitalize it. And there were reasons for that. I am not dwelling into that. But now there is a very clear mandate that, okay, we not only have to bridge that gap, but also make our internal processes, functions capable enough to embrace the digital journey with lesser hiccups. So slightly difficult to do with a lot of risks. And that's why I have been talking so many things on the people management and change management and all, yes. It's in the top priority.
Yeah. So what are the top 5 technology areas where you are increasingly or maybe likely to increase investments, whether it is cyber or, the security, or it is AI, ML, data analytics, cloud SaaS, cloud non-SaaS, on-premise kind of, or cloud management, application modernization, or it's low-code, no-code kind of platform, or is it workflow automation?
Fortunately, unfortunately, that whatever the areas you said, most of them you are already there. The only thing is that, okay, we started the journey, but we have not taken to the next level. So we are still to unleash the potential of that. Like we are having our data lake. Now we want to take to the level, not only the customer data, but how you can leverage the other information data mesh together. We do not have low code, no code so far, but we are in our office productivity and collaboration platform. We will see that how we can bring that low code, no code adoptions and how we can still leverage that. We still are keeping the options that, okay, probably we might have to go dedicated low code, no code. Cyber security is one thing which we are focusing a lot, because when you are doing so much of changes, bringing so much of technologies, expanding some of the technology, for example, RPA, we have adopted 7-8 years back, but the penetration of that is very limited. We have taken a very kind of, I will say, aggressive stance, meeting through all the functions, identifying their processes, and we have put a kind of a plan for the next 1 year to create at least a dozen of bots and automations for them. Similarly, for cybersecurity and all, there will be we are looking forward for that to go to the next level of shop, which is AI ML driven. We have a plan to do a lot of use cases for generative AI in some of the areas which probably enhance our ability to respond first and enhance our capability to work more. For example, we have also we do a lot of projects in the ABP, solar, electrical, and in that, for every of the tender bids, it comes a voluminous document. Going through one tender document, there will be a team of people looking scope of work, commercials, what is the contract specifics to that, what is the timeline, what is the cost, multiple teams will be working, and then probably they'll be coming back. So if you have to work on the multiple contracts, probably it will be cherry picking just by knowing the nature and maybe the customer and at times projects by nature are risk oriented. So in your portfolio, if you want to pick the projects which are less riskier and highly rewarding, probably you'll be missing something. But uses of technologies like generative AI will empower you to expand that space, and then you can pick probably which is the most profitability and the less riskier project and to doing that things. Similarly, on this process side also, we have a process side as well as the learning development, marketing and sales side. A lot of use cases are there, and we have planned that, okay, in the next year, we'll try to experiment some other things such as POC. On the digital analytics, there are many areas where the core process still are not digitalized. So we'll be implementing those solutions in terms of supply chain, production planning, scheduling, logistics, warehousing. But at the same time, we'll be also taking a parallel route for those data which is coming in terms of analytics and how better decision making can be done by using the analytics of that. So there are a set of technologies which are already there. We want to enhance that footprint and make it more effective for the businesses. And there are new areas like low code, no code, like some areas in the cybersecurity, areas related to the overall customer experience, be it AI-enabled models where you basically bring a lot of mechanism to know the customer reviews, customer perceptions, or be it on the side of demand sensing, the solutions which makes your supply chain more optimal.
Yeah, sure. So that was about increasing the budgets or, focus. Are there any technologies wherein you're likely to decrease investment?
Yes, there are. I will say that, okay, we have a clear thing that, okay, we will try to avoid do the tech refresh. We'll try to, when we are doing this, cloud first, mobility first, security underpinning things. That is what the logo in within IT. So the tech refresh for our own data center will try to minimize. And if you have the AMCs going on and on, how we can minimize that for that and moving them to the more on the kind of a cloud. But that doesn't mean 100% will go to the cloud. There will be still some of the workload is still on the one device by the sheer nature of that, either because of technology dependency or because of the confidentiality or uniqueness of that.
Yeah. So what are the top 3 challenges you faced when attempting to buy or deploy emerging technologies over the last 12 months?
So I will say that in our IT landscape, there are a lot of legacy solutions and there are a lot of homegrown solutions. So when you try to bring a new solution or new technology, integrating with them and changes in the process and adoption from the business, that's become a bigger challenge internally. And if I talk about the external for sustainability of that, I think having the skill set internally to support the end users, probably that takes a lot of time in order to pick up those. So what ends up is that, okay, you'll have the partner resources to support it, which becomes a costlier. So these are the challenges in terms of, I will say, the new technologies. Of course, any new technology will bring cybersecurity, and this part will be already there, which you need to consider. You are moving one, let's say, process which was on-premise. Comparatively, risk was lesser, but all of a sudden you move that process to the SaaS model. Everything and everybody is connected on that. How you can make the data security, how you can make this, that information is protected, data leak prevention and all. Confidentiality. Those becomes a little bigger challenge. Of course, user journey for adoption for learning is already there.
Yeah. So what are the top 3 critical factors that drive your digital technology investments?
So I will go back to my first statement where I say that, okay, for the digital technology, I always take it from the 2 aspects. Number 1, whether it is a external, internal. Internal, definitely there should be, is it a pain area which has been prioritized by the organization, and that we come to know because we have a leadership team meeting, we have a divisions meetings, we have a divisions business plans. We also have the visibility of that, okay, the focus is there to optimize the cost or automate it. There is a lot of areas where let's say CFO or the business head of that particular division, they will say upfront. We also have a very strong BGIT, which are basically IT heads of those business divisions, but they have a very strong understanding of the business process challenges of that division. Based on that, we basically assimilate that, and we when we implement any technology, which we are targeting that from the next year, or whatever the new technology we are doing it, we should also try to measure the benefit coming out of that. This piece is completely missing currently. This is what is needed for organization, which is where there will be a lot of challenges in terms of change management, unless you go and bring that data, share that data, prove that, which will create a lot more excitement to go ahead on that after technology. So it'll be basically measuring the progress, and whenever you start with a very minimal area, establish that, and then expand. That is the approach we'll be following.
So it's more like excellence in customer experience or enhancing organizational agility and decision.
So I sorry, I forgot to talk on that. Internal part is more on the operational excellence, efficiency and all, and external part, and most of the DX part will start from external, because internal part you can still take time to fix it. At times, if that becomes a bottleneck, you need to work as a priority, but internal you can still have a time. But external piece, if you miss, because there is a competition already in the market, and you are being the market leader, you have to maintain that position. I think sustaining the number one in the market is a bigger challenge. And in order to do that, you have to be a fast adopter of some of the new initiatives and technology.
Be very innovative. Yeah. So what are the top 3 information sources that influence your technology awareness and buying decisions? Whether these are some tech conferences or seminars, or it is word of mouth, peer-to-peer interactions, or what is it?
So to be very honest, I'm not a very vivid reader or learner, but I do get a lot of knowledge input from the people like you when I'm meeting the technology partners, when I'm meeting the OEMs. Of course, those technology events also helps, where not only sales pitch, but more you talk about what the new products they are bringing, how they are basically addressing some of the existing challenges. But all those things, what is coming in the future, you have to take with a pinch of salt, how relevant it is, because what is being talked, there are a lot of exceptions, or there could be a lot of assumptions to that. You need to be aware of that before. It is not that, okay, I found something attractive and I will jump into that. You need to have your own due diligence. Yes, I do read some of the technology related from your on the LinkedIn or your channel also, but more or less it is a more kind of taking the different views, different decisions, and mostly it is from the OEMs and the events. That helps more, because you get the things in a very concise way and you find area of interest. And after that area of interest, you call that OEM people and take in the detail and see how the applicability is vast. If you find still that is relevant, try to do a small POC with a very defined objective and defined timeline. If you find that, okay, yes, that is meeting, bring it to the business. Just understand the business that if you try to do this, what are the other things you want to do? That is what the approach we plan.
Yeah, sure. So as a IT leader, what is your ambition to grow inside your organization? Whether it is want to grow within the current scope of your role, or it is growing by extending the scope with additional leadership responsibilities, or it is about switching roles to the business role?
Well, I think if I put this ambition, it's not only me. I think I need to expect that, okay, how my leadership is expecting to play the role. I think currently I have a very important role to play here to do the digital transformation, and I still feel that I have enough space to expand and grow in that. It is not from the role aspect, but making organization to adopt to that. If that brings a kind of visibility in the future, the business possibilities cannot be discounted, but I have no ambition to going on that. I currently want to fix the area what is happening interested and bring that change, bring that basically that automations, the transformations, where you really, one of the aspirations what you have that, okay, data-driven operations. Are we going to be 100% end-to-end data-driven operations? Is our decisions are more based on the data it packs, and that too from the same source, rather than my own heuristics and whims and fancies? That is what the things if we achieve, I think, I feel that, okay, I have contributed more in any other role than this, because being in this role, and as I said that, okay, being even in this digital and IT role, it's also a business strategy role. It is the person who is owning this role, he has to prove it. If I keep silo only in technology, I am restricting myself. The business is not saying that you keep only in technology. Business wants to listen more from you, but in the business language, in the business metrics. So we need to transform to that, and that is what I am trying to do. So I feel that, okay, even in this role also, I am playing a very strategic business role, provided if we achieve those metrics.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a very well played round, and you get 10 out of 10.
Thank you. I never expected to score that. So kind of you.
Okay. And I'm sure our audience is going to like it. So that was quite an insightful session with you, Gyan. And once again, I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule And overall, we can say that the adoption of smart manufacturing technology is really shaking things up in a good way. And it has been an insightful discussion with you. Thank you so much. And would also thank our viewers and would request to follow hashtag CXOTV News. Please stay tuned for more inspiring conversations on CXOTV.
Thank you. Thank you, Kalpana. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to come to our platform and talk on this. And I think you made this whole discussion so simple, easy, and lively. And I also felt, I also learned some of the things. And I think let's look forward for our viewers and audience's comment on that. And I feel that, okay, if anybody watching this is getting benefited even by 1%, our objective is done. Yes.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.